Hey, it's your ceiling vent, so I'm dripping. Could be the rain, could be the upstairs bathroom. Yikes. You could hire the guy your neighbor recommended, but I'm pretty sure that's just his cousin. Do we know if he's licensed, or does he just own a ladder?
Listen to your home. Go with Thumbtack. Upload a photo or voice note and we'll diagnose your project and match you with the right pro for the job. Thumbtack. We know homes. Hire the right pro today.
Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
Nobody brings you better coverage of the teams you're passionate about than these guys.
Try some more.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. A reminder, you can win big Wednesday on the KSL Sports Zone with Win Tickets Wednesday. Coming up on Wednesday, we got tickets to see Rod Stewart, Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater on Friday, June 19th. Great seats still available at livenation.com. Get your tickets today and listen to KSL Sports Zone all day Wednesday, the 17th, for your chance to win. We gave away tickets last week. We'll give them away next week. Rod Stewart putting on a show. All right, PK, we got David Locke coming up here in our next segment. There's a ton of things, and we actually have dual things for him with the recent mock draft from Kevin O'Connor at Yahoo Sports saying Cam Boozer's going to go 2 to the Jazz. He has no intel, but that is what he suspects. There's still the thought, will AJ Dybantsa drop? And Locke has questions about AJ Dybantsa's shooting ability. He shot 33% from 3 for BYU. Steven Castle shot 27% from 3 during his 1 year at UConn. So, should we be sweating it? Castle's up in the mid-30s now. Should we be sweating it with Dybantsa? Will it even matter? Is Dybantsa going to go number 1 to Washington and be off the board so it becomes a moot point?
I don't know about a moot point. It may be irrelevant.
Thank you for that. I think that's the answer. It's going to be irrelevant. It's going to be a moot point. But I don't see why he can't improve his shooting ability. I know not everybody does, but a fair number of people do. And does he get it to 35 or 37 or 39? Where does this go? You got any other questions about his ability? All the other boxes checked? Because that is the one thing everybody goes to. And obviously shooting the three is really important in the NBA. We just saw that as San Antonio shot it well in the first half and dominated, and the Knicks shot it well in the second half and came back to win in Game 4.
Sure.
So it's a big, big deal.
And the second best player on the team that is in the NBA Finals shot 27%. So is it that big of a deal?
Locke always says the college game's totally different than the pro game because of the spacing. And Dybantsa, who had as little space to operate as anybody, seemed to excel with that little space. So I would think in the NBA game with the court spread, he's going to be fantastic.
Me too.
And this should really play to his advantage. And for all of us who are watching BYU every game, I mean, as the season went on, the space for him to operate got smaller and smaller. I mean, Wisconsin in December at the Delta Center seems like a gazillion years ago, but that was a completely different deal than what he was facing early in conference play. And then that was a completely different deal versus what he faced late in conference play. It kept getting harder, and he kept accelerating.
Yeah, those are all facts. And
all of it makes me think Washington's going to take him at number 1.
Maybe they will, and it won't matter from the Jazz perspective.
Right.
The questions for him and individually will still be out there, and we'll see how that plays out. You got to give it time. Got to give it at least 3-4 years. So go in that direction. But at the same time, you know, I think they're enthralled by Darren Peterson also. And all that potential, and the what if, and the yeah but, as you say, rightly so. So with that in mind, what does all that mean? this is very rare, I think, that you have such doubt less than 2 weeks away as who's going to be the number one pick, which makes it all sorts of exciting. And then the fact that Jazz are right there in the mix adds to it.
I think it is rare to have this level of doubt. And I think that...
But it's a good rare.
When you do have this level of doubt, it's usually because everybody knows they're really flawed and, you're picking a B.
It's a bad rare.
It's a B-minus player. It's
bad
not a good
rare.
Yeah, it's not a good draft.
Right.
And it's just what makes this so unusual is it's a really good draft. They're really good players. There's no A pluses out there, but there are a lot of guys who look like A minuses, and whatever flaws they have, how much are they going to excel in the NBA and blow through that? I mean, you look at all the NBA players who didn't go number one because they had flaws in their games, and you just start with Michael Jordan at number 3. Oh, they had some flaw in their game, and could they overcome it? Yeah, apparently.
Well, yeah, but see, I think in those days, it was about the big men.
Yes.
So the big man always was the preference.
And in that draft, big guys went 1-2.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's
and one of them won 2 titles.
Completely different.
And the other guy had an injury and never came close to whatever his potential could be.
So I don't think you can compare that to today because the game has changed.
Okay, you want to go Steph Curry then. He won 4 titles, and obviously a bunch of teams passed on him, including famously Minnesota twice. But whatever the negatives were, he's too small, he's had a lot of ankle injuries, and he overcame all of it and won 4 titles.
Yeah, I think he was right around the edge when things were changing in the league. And he didn't play big-time competition. I mean, he did get the NCAA tournament.
And he got to the regional final.
But most of the games were whatever league
overmatched.
Davidson in.
Was
I don't even know.
Yeah, whatever they were in at the time.
Colonial
It was probably
League
changed.
or what have you.
Yeah.
That's usual. That's why the draft, as we're told a million times over, and there's so much proof to back that up, it's not a science. It's a form of an art. And that's why DA is being credited. Because if it were a science, he wouldn't be known or held in such high regard because it is an art, and you have to make sure that you're on the right side of it. And you're going to miss occasionally. There's no question about that. But at the same time, you have to have more hits, and that's the way it goes, man. I know some people in the Jazz that were really upset. They had 3 second-round picks, and no one thought to take Lou Dort. Not that he's a great player, but you're looking for a player at a second round, and he succeeded there. And but yet they stunningly, I don't know, not necessarily the same management, but maybe it was. They find Mitchell and Gobert. Okay, score. And the second-round picks, well, if you're going to miss, at least miss on a second-round pick. Don't miss on the second or third pick. I mean, they missed with Cantor. And Exum had the injuries. They missed there. But now you've got this one here, and at the time that you have this pick, you've come off some really bad times in terms of winning and losing, which is ultimately the ultimate judge. So here, you cannot afford to miss this. This is the most important pick they've had in who knows how long. But it's right. And this is new management, new ownership. This is their first time to really change everything about the franchise in terms of winning and losing. I mean, the last few years, they've all been known for, the only thing they've been known for is tanking. That's it. Ask anybody around the country. Oh, they tanked. Look what they did. Well, now you had an opportunity and you must cash in. And the good thing, because it's a good rare that we don't know who the number one pick is, we can know that a good player is going to be available. Will it be the very best player? I don't necessarily think that that's the standard, because all standards are going to be different. Yeah, you can go the best player. If whoever goes to Memphis is going to have way more opportunity to put up numbers than whoever the Jazz take.
Okay, if you go best player rookie season, for sure. Yeah.
Well, it's about winning. Who helps you win? Who's going to help you win?
Who's going to help you win playoff games and series in 4, 6, 8 years?
So maybe if that player isn't individually the best player, but he's a piece that is really, really valuable combined with the other pieces, and you're sitting there Probably not next season, but we'll see how next season goes. And at this time next year, we could be thinking, hey, they make a move around the edges here a little bit, whatever it might be. This is a conference final team. And whoever Memphis drafted, they're trying to get to 30 wins. So you don't necessarily need the best player. You need the best player that you can get that fits into your team. Now, I'm not saying go for fit over best player. I'm just saying if it turns out that way and you've still won at a high level, the classic example you already brought up is Jordan and the Bulls versus Olajuwon and the Rockets. Rocket people, those two titles, I'm sure they're big time for you and on all that. And should you have taken Jordan? Yeah. But are you going to lament the fact that you took Olajuwon? No. That's the classic example. You scoffed with your eyebrows. You raised an eye, which is impossible to do, but you said it a couple weeks ago. But you gave me a face like, oh, I don't know about that, PK. Are you drunk again? No, I haven't had a single ounce of alcohol this morning.
Unlike that time when you were completely disoriented on the ship.
Nor any of the mornings since I've ever been doing the show. Nor any of the mornings for the last 40 years, for that matter.
Yay! Got a good streak going. Keep that thing going.
So, yeah, I stand by that statement. Now, you got to be careful. It's an easier statement to make than to actually have it come to pass. I want the best player. What you want is both. You want the best player and the guy who's going to be there, and it's going to take a couple years before he can be the leader, the best player on this team. And because of that fact, that's a good sign because that means you got big-time talent on the team, and I do believe they have big-time talent.
And they do have older guys who are ready to win at a higher level and change that.
And younger guys.
That storyline.
Older guys than whoever they draft. But, I mean, Keontae George is ready to win. I get the sense that he understands what the NBA is about. And it's great to put up a bunch of numbers, but you're on losing teams, man. Now you want to win. Winning is the ultimate intoxication. There's nothing like it.
And in this, it's why they're showing up every day. Winners get paid. Winners get the glory. Winners get the adrenaline rush. You can just keep checking boxes.
It's what that man said years ago.
That man. PK points at a TV screen that has Magic Johnson on it.
He understood it going right in.
Yeah.
Hey, I make all these guys better. We all win. We all get the glory. We all get the credit. We all live happily ever after. Look at this guy. Look at him go.
He's talking.
Right.
He's bringing his hands together. It's talking about a group, a team.
He's viewed as the ultimate winner. Now, there are other guys that are there in that category, but he understood it wasn't about stats. It's about winning, man.
He could score 11 points and be totally happy and be the star of the game. Literally, you would leave the arena or the TV if you're watching on TV thinking Magic was the best player on the court, and he took 7 shots and scored 11 points.
Whatever your position is.
Yeah, you think he's a role guy, but you know watching the game he dominated.
Your charge at this level going forward at the and maybe in college and high school too, but certainly at this level where the spotlight shines the brightest, is that your charge is to influence winning as much as you can. Now, the 8th guy isn't going to be able to do it as much as the 2nd guy, but the charge is all the same. Everybody has a piece. And that's how you get teams who win. They've got to be going in the same direction, particularly in this game. It must be everybody. If you're worried about shots, you're worried about this, you're worried about that, you're going to sidetrack yourself. That's what distraction is all about. And so find that player who you think fits in, and hopefully for you, he is the best player in the draft. But if you should not get that, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad pick or the wrong pick. Still don't buy it.
You might be able to thread that needle when it all works out that way.
Still don't buy it, man.
But if you're going deep in the playoffs, you better hit a home run when you got the number 2 pick in a loaded draft. Now,
but he might not be the best player
I'm
individually.
going to use baseball analogies so you'll fall in love with me and I can be more popular at baseball analogies worked in the last hour. Yes, a double down the line can drive in 3 runs. But wouldn't you rather hit it 420 feet and put it in the second deck? And maybe you'll hit the double down the line and clear the bases.
As long as I win, what you're telling me now is you want to win by 9, not by 2.
I want to do the thing that gives me the best chance of winning. I don't want to have a 60% chance of winning. I want to have a 90% chance of winning. Don't lump me in there and paint me in that corner. I saw what you did there, and that was not being a good teammate.
I think it's a legitimate question. If that double down the line helps you win the game, that's plenty good.
But I'd rather hit the home run and score 4 runs rather than have a 3-run double. But you're right. It might win the game.
Well, yeah. I mean, but how many outs do I have left to go? As long as you win. That's the bottom line here.
That is true. As long as you win.
Freaking winning. This is the pro game. It's not about feel good. It's about winning. And
yeah, well, when you win,
they must have that mindset. Yeah. Michelle Ainge, Danny's wife, and
the real
Austin's
power
mother
behind the throne
wants to win.
Yeah.
Win at the highest level. That's the ultimate goal. Everything points in that direction.
And that's why they keep showing spouses and parents and kids in the stands going nuts, because they do want that. They want it badly, and they got no control over it.
Bussey's goaltender,
Yeah, see?
they showed his wife and kids in the stands,
Yeah.
and all the players from Carolina going up and hugging him as if he just won the cup and he's the MVP. Now, he was inserted, was it last game, I think it was? And he got in there, and he played well last night, and they all went up to him to show his wife it's about winning. And they interviewed the guy who scored the 2 goals, the Russian dude, afterward. I think that's who he's
Svenchkov.
from. Yeah. And it's about winning, man. He was just like 0. No, it's not about me. This is what I took listening to him when he's giving this interview. It's about, this is what we do to win. So find that guy. And the good thing is, even if they don't get the very best player, I still believe they can have an excellent draft. Yes, you want the very best player.
And that is true. And that is why so many teams tank this year, because there's a chance, even if you don't get the very best player, there's a chance to get a very good player who can help you win. And that's why a third of the league, by the end of the year, a third of the league is like, who cares about winning tonight? We need to win in June.
Yeah,
we
and
need to win in the draft.
I think they overreacted.
Right.
Because they knew the draft was supposed to be really good. We've been talking about it for over a year. And so a bunch of teams went down that road, and the leagues, now we got to change all the rules.
And last year they went down that road because of flag, but 2 years ago they didn't go down that road. There wasn't a bunch of tanking. There's always a couple teams that are tanking. The Jazz are one of them. But that draft wasn't as good, and everybody talked about it.
And I think you'll always have losing teams. And if those teams are losing, what difference does it make if their star guy is playing 40 minutes? You're still losing.
It hasn't mattered for 50 whatever years.
I think they overreacted with the lottery thing.
And it's because
they panicked because there was bad publicity, and let's change everything. And so they give us window dressing.
Yeah, fair. And it's because 3 of the last 4 drafts, 2 of them had a massive prize, and this one may not have the massive prize at the top, but the top 4, the top 8 are so good. You have way more teams trying to get in.
All they have to do is get rid of the stupid protected picks. Because if the Jazz hadn't done that and done that protected, what was it, top 8, then there wouldn't have been such a big panic to make sure you didn't get number 9. Get rid of those. That doesn't screw a team like Memphis, who made a trade under one set of rules, and then you change the rules on them after they operated under one set of rules. If I go to Texas and get myself a judge and overturn what the NBA did on the lottery.
No, you got to go to Tennessee and get that judge now. Texas judge isn't going to help Memphis. You got to go to Tennessee.
Yeah, but you can get somebody who liked Elvis and B.B. King and Sun Records and Perkins and Jerry Lee Lewis, right? Have some Memphis background. Who's been to Beale Street? I've been to Beale Street, Dave. I've been to Beale Street. I don't think that you have to. You're really, really limiting the possibilities of Texas judges right now.
He'll never admit defeat. Ow. He just keeps spinning. He just keeps spinning until he gets to something. And honestly, if you pick up the toy when it's spinning, you only have half the fun. You just got to let him spin and see where it goes.
I called you Al as a term of endearment. He called you Al derisively.
I did, but it was to mock you, not him. Because he knows
so
he
has to take a straight. He's young. How does he know that? He's thinking, wait a second.
Because he's a leader. He's the captain.
No,
Who gave you the nickname the captain?
Not
You
yet.
did. You are the captain of the ship.
He's only 26.
Oh, he's already
you just
driving
said
the
that
boat.
condescendingly so he didn't bug you.
No, I said that because I didn't know his name.
Well, that's even more condescendingly. I know the guy's name is Al.
They're rotating producers through the soccer broadcast and through the morning show.
But I'll
and
always
then it's
remember
like,
and Al,
I don't know that guy's name.
I've had
but
just
he's
as many
detail-oriented.
producers as he has on the radio, but I know you're Al.
Well, now.
No, I knew before.
Now we're boys.
Yeah, because I introduced him. I brought him in. I made him feel comfortable. And I made him feel like part of the team. I didn't derisively, scornfully mock his name.
One rando Saturday night, there's this voice in the headset. I'm at the stadium. Who the heck is that? No introductions, and I can't say, hey, who are you? We're on the air.
Why not?
Then another Saturday is like, I wonder if that guy was that. But
Dave,
then pretty soon I got it.
You're doing soccer. You could have said, who are you?
Nope.
You think you would have lost your job?
Yes, I would have.
You would
not.
not.
Possibly my life.
Not a,
It's
well, then okay.
capital
Then you
offense.
definitely should have said it.
Oh, thank you for that. When we come back, David Locke on the NBA draft. What does he think about the new mock draft out of Yahoo that has the Jazz taking Boozer? We'll talk with David Locke next. Chancellor Johnson from the Big 12 and Chris Vanini from the Athletic on Texas Tech and the Big 12 Media Days and what's going to happen here in the short run and what's going to happen in the long run. That's coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Stay with us. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
That sound could mean a lot of things. And when something's going wrong at home, the hardest part can be figuring out what the problem actually is. At Thumbtack, you can upload a voice message or a photo, and our AI-powered search will help diagnose your project. Plus, the pros we know have over 14 million five-star reviews, so you can hire with confidence. Thumbtack, we know homes. Hire the right pro today.
This is Utah's best coverage of the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Mammoth. Here we go. From the guys who have been there for all the biggest moments in Utah sports history. You're listening to DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, Chancellor Johnson from the Big 12 Network and Chris Vanini from The Athletic are going to join us, talk about the latest on Texas Tech with them. And also, Brett McMurphy's got a power poll out, PK.
Big 12, yeah.
All right. Where do they rank?
He's a name in the biz. He knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely. We've had him on the show.
I got massive respect for him.
He's been hip deep in tons of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And he's got Tech at the top.
You do.
Yeah. Doesn't everybody at this point?
I think the top three are universal.
Oh, Brett McMurphy is a clown. I want to see where this guy's from. Colorado. Doesn't like him. Probably wrote something negative about Deion. Got everybody mad. Brett McMurphy's not a clown. Respected veteran.
Yep.
All right, DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time to welcome in David Locke, radio voice of your Utah Jazz. David, good morning.
Oh, my gosh, a Friday morning with two of my favorites of all time during the draft season and two people who emulate exactly what every NBA front office is wanting. Patrick Kinahan finding his true meaning later in his development, starting as an upstart at the Daily Breeze, rising as a writer into a talk show gem and one of the greats of all time, adjusting his game as he develops into the all-star superstar you want. David James, the understudy to the great one at Santa Barbara, rising up, maximizing all of his potential, and becoming the star that he is. This is what front offices want. They want a little DJ. They want a little PK. That's what Austin Ainge is hoping for, maximizing who they are.
You know what the Jazz want? Because we don't. And it turns out the public, well, they do want that. Turns out the mock drafts here, David, are getting a little scrambled, providing a little drama. Whether it's real or not, we'll take it.
I think it's real.
Yahoo has come out with Cam Boozer. Cameron Boozer is the number 2 pick, according to Kevin O'Connor at Yahoo. He says, I'm moving Boozer into the slot. It's not based on any intel at all. It's just a gut feeling based on history. He goes into the Celtics history and the, passing on Fultz and sliding down and taking Tatum. And this follows what Bill Simmons said, who was going to the same logic earlier this week. And you're buying what these two guys are selling?
No, I'm not buying actually either of them selling. I am buying that the top of the draft is completely in flux and it's not made up. And I actually want to walk you guys through an exercise today because I'm flipped. I have flipped completely from where the narrative is. Kevin O'Connor is just talking. And frankly, putting out chalk doesn't get you any clicks right now. So, and I'm not saying he's a click fiend. I'm just saying like putting out AJ Dybantsa, Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer, Caleb Wilson right now has like been done 1,000 times. Yeah. So I think in the media, that is people are doing something to try to get reaction, but it's because I think it's real. Like if you understand what I'm saying, like I do think it's totally in flux. I think Cameron Boozer could go one. Let me ask you guys this question. Which one of these players do you think is the biggest risk? Oh, actually,
Peterson.
Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. Which one of these players do you think has the biggest swing
Peterson.
from their upside to their downside?
I know exactly what you got. The distance between the floor. What's the worst this player could do versus what's the best this player could be? To me, the biggest gap is Peterson. He could be the leading scorer on a championship team, and he could go down as the biggest bust of the draft.
Okay, so I'd go the opposite. I think he's the safest pick.
Because?
And I don't think his upside is as high as everybody else's.
Okay, because?
Because unless he's Shea, like a 6'6" scoring guard, like everyone says he's Devin Booker and he's Bradley Beal, which is great. They're both incredible. Devin Booker's been a top 10 candidate, MVP candidate once in his entire career. Bradley Beal never was.
But you just wrecked the argument by saying unless he's Shea. Well, what if he is Shea? That's the top shelf.
I guess I don't see him as Shea. I don't see him with that kind of ball handling skill. I actually think, and I think his downside, find me a 6'6" guard who can shoot, who's been drafted in the top 5, who's busted in the NBA. Like, it doesn't exist. Deion Waiters is the answer, but he averaged 12 points a game in Syracuse. It's not the same thing. Like, it doesn't exist. Like, you're a 6'6" guard in the NBA who can shoot, you're not busting. But I'll flip this. Cameron Boozer, to me, could be a top 10 MVP candidate if he really turns out to be a ball-handling point forward at 6'10", who can play the offense. I don't want to say he's Luka, but there's a lot of similarities, and also can do other stuff and can shoot it and is the fulcrum of your offense. But he also could be Jabari Parker or Marvin Bagley. I think he's the biggest risk. But I also think he has the biggest upside and might have the most likely upside. I don't buy the narrative on this draft at all. Like, to me, AJ Dybantsa is the least likely to hit his ceiling, but his downside is 20 points a game. But I don't like that. I don't like RJ Barrett, Paulo Banchero, but that's his downside.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Stephon Castle, shot 27% in his season at UConn, and he's improved dramatically. Why can't AJ?
AJ can, and Stephon Castle's a huge outlier. But he is the answer right now. He is a huge outlier. He's done it. Like, I mean, that is awesome. And if Stephon Castle can shoot threes like this, we're going to look back at that draft and wonder why Dwayne Wade didn't go one. Like, I mean, if Stephon Castle shoots a three, he's Dwayne Wade with a jumper. He is going to be incredible.
For people who missed it, he shot 27 in college. He shot 28.5 as a rookie. He shot 33 this year, and now he's shooting 36% in the playoffs. I mean, the arrow is so up on this guy. It's fantastic. It's incredible.
It is, but let's give me a larger sample size.
I get it, but that's all he's played. That's all we've got. But it's like all you can do is get better, and it's like, well, this guy seems like he's getting better every month.
Right. I think the 36 is really appealing. He would be truly one of the first guys. Tyrese Maxey didn't shoot great in college either. He'd be one of the first guys in the last 10 years to make this swing. Like, guys that are below the 40th percentile in catch and shoot in college, almost none of them become 35% or better shooters in the NBA. But Castle might do it. And if he does, he's incredible.
You're not drafting a sample size. You're drafting a player.
Right, but I'm going to draft a sample size of 10 years worth of data that shows me that someone's not a good catch-and-shoot shooter in the European League, the G League, Overtime Elite, or the college, that they don't become above-average NBA shooters. I'm going to look at that data size, and at least I am, going to think there's something and really take that in and really think about that.
Okay, but I've got two competing storylines, David, and one of them, they can't both be true. There's one where they can't get better, but the other one where I'm told there's a bunch of talented coaches and and directors. They've got great facilities. These people are in at 7 a.m. every day all summer working on getting better. And the players are really into it. They're really conscientious in a way that maybe previous generations weren't, quite frankly. But these guys are, and they're super invested in getting better. So I'm buying that at face value, but that makes me think there can be more castles because they got the facilities, they got the coaches, they got the dedication. They can do this.
Build a castle.
Or that whole storyline is a bunch of smoke to make us feel good about bad teams.
I think you can be a decent shooter, and you maybe can make a decent shooter into an above slightly decent shooter. Like, but I think there's something to touch. If you can't shoot, you can't shoot. I don't believe you can teach shooting. I think you can improve it with reps. You can prove it with, but yeah, no offense to all these great coaches in the NBA. Like, you can get some, like, Lou Dort suddenly couldn't shoot again, right? Like, Lou Dort, someone like is taught how to shoot in the NBA, and then all of a sudden he couldn't again. So I'm not sold on it. Like, I think these guys are getting better. I think there's every other skill in the world you can probably add. Your handle can improve. Your balance can improve. Your strength can improve. Your condition can improve. But frankly, you think there's something to touch, and you either have it or you don't. And I'm probably on an island. Particularly most coaches want you to believe, and I'll hear about this, and I'm sure some of my coach colleagues / friends. Yeah. But I don't buy it. I don't think you can teach shooting. I just don't, and the data tells me I'm right.
And the data is there for everybody. And SGA, who you already brought up as the high example, went 11th in the draft, and before he was even anything close, he was traded twice. So there's holes in all these theories.
I mean, you guys, we can play this. Wait. We can play this bullcrap game and decide to take the one-offs all the time. We can do that. That's fine. Pull the one-off out of the air every single freaking time. That's great. We can freaking do that. That's great. Super fun. Okay. But a really crappy way to evaluate talent.
But yet they had all that data, and he still lasted the MVP until the 11th pick.
Shea wasn't this bad a shooter. Shea's not on the list of guys who are – PK, we can play this game. I got 10 years of data. If you shoot below 40% on your catch and shoot, you don't end up being an NBA shooter. Stephen Castle might do it. Tyrese Maxey did do it. But you don't find it. You just don't.
Okay, I understand that. And that's on shooting, and you're right.
Yes,
but yet there were still negatives on SGA.
My turn. It's AJ Dybantsa, my turn. AJ Dybantsa shoots 38% from three. He's a top 5 MVP candidate every freaking year. If he shoots 38% from three, he's one of the 5 best players in the NBA. He's unfreaking stoppable.
Agreed.
He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it.
Okay, that to me is the question here, David, because he's shooting 33% in college, right? If he's that in the pros, right? But if he moves it to 35, it's a big deal. If he moves it to 37, it's a bigger deal. If he moves to 39, and 40 is elite, right? There's 40 guys shooting 40%. He doesn't ever have to get there. Like, every time he moves it up a couple points, he makes himself so much better. And I get your point about one-offs, but the fact is, if you hit on a one-off, it can make a coach's career. It can make a GM's career. It can make an owner a decade. I get your point. Like, if you got to make 100 of these decisions, but there are moments where the swings are bigger and the situation is bigger. And in a loaded draft, if you get the right guy at number 2, I get your point about playing the odds. You're talking to someone who's been playing the odds for decades on the radio, so I totally get it. But I got to acknowledge here, if they hit on the one-off, they're setting themselves up till 2040. It could be glorious if they're right. You got to be right about. You got to be right about the one-off. You know, and
agreed.
Yeah.
Two thoughts here.
Yeah.
One, The more likely scenario is he shoots 31, 32, 33% from three, and you have some variation of Paolo Banchero, RJ Barrett, Pascal Siakam. You got to figure out how to use them. Okay? And that's not easy, right?
Right.
Like that's his downside. It's still 20 points a game. It's still an all-star. But if I'm shooting, part of my point here is if I'm shooting the one-off, then I might be shooting Cameron Boozer.
Yeah.
You want my one-off?
Yeah.
My one-off is that I just found a 6'10" point guard who can run the offense, is a culture changer, is going to wins at every level, can shoot the three. If you find big guys that play the handoff game that can actually shoot, Nikola Jokic and Karl Anthony Towns are kind of the only two in the NBA right now. They're the two best handoff guys in the NBA. If you play the handoff game with a big that shoots, the offensive numbers are incredible. If you can invert your offense and have Boozer play the pick and roll and overpowers the smaller guards all day long going to the basket because everyone switches, if you can have Boozer suddenly take advantage of switches in the post, you might have a 20-point, 10-rebound, 10-assist one-off as Cameron Boozer. I think there's more likely, if you want the big swing, my big swing is Cameron Boozer. My big swing is not AJ Dybantsa. My big swing is Cameron Boozer.
If none of these guys project out to their best, if they all fall to their floor, and if they're all the worst versions of these draft projections, Boozer's the best player. And I
disagree. I disagree with you on that too.
What?
I think Boozer's the highest bust potential.
Okay, we're not talking about that. We're not talking. Yeah, okay.
No, you just
but
said it.
In
Go
the
to
worst
their
case
floor.
scenario,
Worst case scenario, Darren Peterson is Jason Richardson. Worst case scenario, AJ Dybantsa is RJ Barrett. Worst case scenario, Cameron Boozer's Jabari Parker.
A worst case scenario, Peterson is Ja Morant, and I can't figure out what's going on, and I don't even know if he's going to be out on the court or if he's going to be missing weeks or months at a time. I mean, the worst case with Peterson is horrible, and hopefully it doesn't happen, because the best case with Peterson is he's out there just lighting it up, scoring 30 points in the conference finals and the NBA finals, which would be way more entertaining for me.
There's some level of this conversation where the medical stuff I'm just assuming is okay, right?
Yeah,
like
we don't know that. We don't know that.
If they know something medically, if Cameron Boozer's got a knee problem that they know about, if Boozer's put on a tremendous amount of weight in the last 2 years, like is that a concern? That's what happened to Jabari Parker, right? Like, and then he had a knee problem. So like, if there's something medical on any of these four guys, we probably should be talking Caleb Wilson here too. Then yes, all the conversation goes off. So in regards to floors, I'm not including medical.
Okay.
And I don't buy, like I've seen players who I've watched on tape and thought to myself like, oh, they don't want to play, or, oh, they don't want the ball, or, oh, they don't want the big moment, or, whatever, right? Like, oh, they're having an anxiety attack literally on the floor right now. It's happened. I don't see any of that in Darren Peterson. Late game, he goes and gets the ball. Late game, they go give him the ball. He pulled himself out of games and clearly had something going on medically where he was uncomfortable. But it did not, when I watched their close games, it did not manifest to me as a player who was ducking out of big moments or trying not to have the ball.
I get your point about one-offs, but I'm going to defer to PK right here because mentality matters. And the Ainge's mentality, whether it's Danny or it's Austin or it's both of them together, I don't think they do the safe thing. I think they think if we stare at this puzzle long enough, we will figure it out. And if one of these guys is a one-off, they think they will figure it out and get the right guy for the next 5, 10, 15 years. They'll figure it out. And it may go against the odds, and I get it, and I totally get playing the odds. PK, correct me if I'm wrong here. Is that how Austin and Danny are going to roll, or are they going to stare at the puzzle until they figure it out? And if they take a flyer, they take a flyer because deep down they think they're right. And you only have to be right one time to justify the draft. Be right with your pick.
And you must be right this time.
Yeah. So I'm banking on that, too.
By the way, I've studied this concept that Kevin O'Connor and Bill Simmons, our two Celtics homers, want to talk about all the time, about the draft history of like Danny Ainge, and somehow as though Austin Ainge is a clone, because this is the first thing I would say is anytime I hear somebody in the national media talk about Danny Ainge's decision, they're not paying attention. This is Austin Ainge's decision. Like Austin is running the show. Danny works for Austin.
And Austin has said multiple times that they sit around and argue out players every day, all the time, and it goes back for years. It's just
yes, and this is
right.
but this is Austin Age's legacy right here.
Yeah.
Like this pick will if Ace Bailey and this pick hit, Austin Age's legacy are set. And if this pick and Ace Bailey don't hit, frankly, Austin Age's legacy as a GM is set. Like that's truthfully what we have here. So first of all, anytime I hear anybody in the national media start talking about, well, Danny Ainge's history says this, great, that's what you know, but don't think it actually has any impact today. The second thing is, if you even do study the Austin Ainge, Danny Ainge, there is no pattern. Again, we can do the one-off where we just talk about Jason Tatum, Markelle Fultz, one of the greatest trades of all time, but there's no pattern. He's drafted Fab Melo and Terry Rozier. Go back and look at it. If you actually analyze it, there's not a pattern. He drafted Aaron Nesmith. Okay, but that's a totally different player than Terry Rozier. There's just not a pattern here. It's not true.
We've been told we have to go to break like 17 times. I guess we better go to break.
Why
David.
would you go to break? This is the best radio you've done
It's
in
awesome.
10 years.
And that's why we've got so. No, it's not 10 years. You've been really good more recently than that.
Okay.
Well, you got
It's
going.
about time someone stood up to you. You know what the problem is? You know what the problem is for the two of you? When you get to the top of the mountain, you have no one around you who will say no. You should be thankful that you have me.
We are thankful we have you. You missed a Friday a couple weeks ago, and I was disappointed.
So was I.
I didn't whine. I didn't whine about it. You show up a lot, and we appreciate it. But if we have a Friday without you, it's not nearly as much fun as a Friday with you.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
At least I know this. You got your money's worth out of this appearance.
Nice. All right, David, thank you. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you. All right, there's David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz. DJ and PK coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Big 12 football. What does it look like with Sorsby playing for Texas Tech? What does it look like without him playing at Texas Tech? We're going to talk to a couple guys who covered the Big 12 in college football. Chancellor Johnson, Big 12 host Chris Vanini from The Athletic. They're coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Stay with us.
Hey, it's your ceiling vent, so I'm dripping. Could be the rain, could be the upstairs bathroom. Yikes. You could hire the guy your neighbor recommended, but I'm pretty sure that's just his cousin. Do we know if he's licensed, or does he just own a ladder?
Listen to your home. Go with Thumbtack. Upload a photo or voice note, and we'll diagnose your project and match you with the right pro for the job. Thumbtack. We know homes. Hire the right pro today.
Over 2 decades of sports radio dominance in Utah.
My favorite.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Join Scotty and the coach Friday from 10 to 2. Tim Dolly Mazda and Sandy, 10785 South Auto Mall Drive. As far as the thing about the mock drafts and the clicks and all that, PK, people aren't getting paid by the click. Now, you can't not have clicks. You got to have them.
I used to.
You used to, yeah. And then they stopped because you were getting too many clicks. And that's what management does over and over. Well, we give you bonuses and you really perform. And as soon as you perform, they take them away. I had them taken away from me. Why? Because they had to pay on it. You never want to pay on that. You just didn't think it was any good, and I couldn't do it. And then when I did, you're like, no, we don't do that. Yeah. CBS doesn't do that. Sure they do. You're just not going to do it with me. Fine. I get it. I think these guys get a little bored, and they've got to write something, and they know there's these multiple storylines, and everybody's lying, and nobody knows we're sure for true. So you write one of the other storylines you know is out there. This is plausible. It could happen.
Yeah.
And you put it in, they're going to make you write 8 mock drafts. All right.
Yeah,
fine.
but I also believe that if you just go the standard 1, 2, 3, 4, it's already been done a million times.
Yep. All right, DJ and PK, we're coming back. Texas Tech, Big 12 football. The possibilities seem to be endless. Let's get to that next. Chancellor Johnson joins us. Chris Vanini at 9:30. Stay with us.
Hey, it's your ceiling vent, so I'm dripping. Could be the rain, could be the upstairs bathroom. Yikes. You could hire the guy your neighbor recommended, but I'm pretty sure that's just his cousin. Do we know if he's licensed, or does he just own a ladder?
Listen to your home. Go with Thumbtack. Upload a photo or voice note, and we'll diagnose your project and match you with the right pro for the job. Thumbtack, we know homes. Hire the right pro today.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just